I'm Sephardi, I grew up Sephardi, classic Sephardi, not connected to Chassidut, but very much so to Pnimut Torah. And at a certain point, the gates opened up for me into Reb Nachman's Torah and into the Baal Shem Tov's way. And what it's done for my life has been so revolutionary that I've chose to dedicate now my life to helping other people get this as well. To try to share these Torahs that took me out of clubs in Tel Aviv, in Miami, and into B'tei Midrash in Tzfat and in Yerushalayim. And on a simple level, right? A lot of you guys grew up in B'tei Midrash. You guys grew up in the Ruach. I don't know, some of you might be looking to get out. Some of you might be fighting to stay in. But I can tell you one thing for sure, having been someone that was on completely the other side of the world, and then coming into these teachings, if they are approached properly and in a balanced way, they make your life a lot better. What started for me trying to do kiruv rechokim, right? To try to do kiruv for people that never kept Torah and mitzvot. After a while, I realized that sometimes the people that need the Baal Shem Tov the most are his students, are the actual Hasidim that grew up with this, that came from the families that for 200 years have already been connected to this path. And I've seen, unfortunately in my eyes, but it's been a blessing for me personally, that sometimes it takes a Baal Tshuva from Miami with tattoos and with a whole past to help Hasidim really get what the Baal Shem Tov is saying, Reb Nachman's saying. Why? Because I don't have the eyes that you guys grew up with. I didn't come into it that way. So, Bezat Hashem, I told Yossi and his brothers before we got started, I have a week and a half here in America. I have a lot of events to talk at, and I'm not a public speaker, so I don't have this one prepared speech that I'm just going to go around and say everywhere. I try to live the Torah. So I had my own thoughts of what to share today, and on the plane this morning, before getting off the plane, I asked the guy sitting next to me, Psokli Psukha, what should I teach today in Borough Park? And he told me this Torah, which I already had in my mind. And then I opened the book, and you can see, I'm not joking, right? Yudalet Elu. It is Yudalet Elu. So this is the Torah of the day, even, according to the Chalukah of this book. Bezat Hashem, we'll get into it. This idea is coming to talk about the hardships that we experience when we're coming to connect to Hashem. And now we're coming to start a new cycle, right? Elul is the end of the year, Rosh Hashanah is the beginning. We're all starting now in our Avodat Hashem again, fresh. Right? In a few, 16 days? That's it. Brand new people, brand new world. We're starting again. Avodat Hashem is a cycle that is always a growing cycle, right? It's not a circle. A lot of times people ask this question, we have to read the same parasha every year. We're going up, we're always ascending. But that always comes with hardships too. Reb Nachman here gives an amazing Torah in Likutei Moharan. This is in the second book of Likutei Moharan. Likutei Moharan has two books, Kama and Tinyana. The second one, it's Torah Memchet. Moach. Moach is the brain. Rosh Hashanah is all about the Rosh. It's all about the head. What's going on in our brain? What's going on in our brain as we approach a new year of Avodat Hashem? What are we thinking about? How do we think about Hashem? What do we think about our own lives, struggles, and our own attempts to grow in Avodat Hashem? So Bezat Hashem will try to add some light from Reb Nachman on this. Reb Nachman says like this: She'adam nichnas be'avodat Hashem, when a person starts to serve Hashem, azay derech shemarim lo itchachakut. The way is that they push you away in the beginning. Again, I want to remind everybody, Reb Nachman was a Mekubal talking to Hasidim. He wasn't exactly doing kiruv classes to faraway people. He was talking to people that are Anshe Ma'ala, on the highest level. All of them Mekubalim, Mekusharim, Miyuchasim. Still, again, Rosh Hashanah is coming, we all have to start in Avodat Hashem. And it appears as if, Reb Nachman says, they're pushing you away from up above. From Shamayim, they're pushing a person away. Ve'en menichim oto klal likanes la'avodat Hashem. They're not letting you allowed at all to step into Avodat Hashem. They don't want you to serve Hashem, so to say. It appears that way. U'be'emet kol ha'itchachakut u'rak kulo itkavut. The truth is that all of this distancing that they're showing you from Shamayim, this pushing away that they're doing to you, it's only there to bring you closer. וצריך התחזקות גדול מאוד מאוד לבלי ליפול בדעתו חס ושלום. You need to be strong to not fall from your mind, to not fall off your consciousness when you're trying to connect to Hashem Yitbarach, and He commanded you to do that, and He gave you Torah and Tfilot and Mitzvot to do, and you're trying to do it, and all the doors are closed. And it feels like they're pushing you away, far away. כשרואה שעוברים כמה וכמה ימים ושנים שהוא מתייגע בידיעות גדולות בשביל עבודת השם, ועדיין הוא רחוק מאוד. It's been years, months, days that you're trying to serve Hashem, and you're still extremely far. ולא התחיל כלל לכנוס לשערי הקדושה. You haven't at all started to even enter the gates of קדושה. כי הוא רואה עצמו שהוא מלא עדיין אביות וגשמיות וירום ובלבולים גדולים. You see yourself, you're still very material, you're still very gashmi, you're still filled with a lot of confusions, great questions on Hashem and on אמונה, on עבודת השם. וכל מה שהוא רוצה לעשות בעבודת השם, איזה דבר שבקדושה, אין מניחים אותו. Anything you want to do that's holy, they don't let you do it. It's holy stuff. What am I trying to do? Be a good yid? Serve Hashem? What's the problem? Why, Hashem, are you closing the door on me? ונדמה לו כאילו אין השם יתברך מסתכל עליו כלל. It appears as if Hashem's not looking at you at all. Rabbi Yitzhak was just talking to us. He said, what's this inyan of מראשית השנה עד אחרית השנה? Eretz Yisrael, right? Hashem looks at Eretz Yisrael from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Why? Isn't it constant? What does it have to do with the year? Every year has its own anhaga. Every year has its own derech in avodat Hashem. מראשית השנה עד אחרית השנה. So now we're at the end of the year, we're going to start again. We're going to start this avodah again. And you're screaming out, and you're calling, and you're falling in front of Hashem, and you're asking to, please help me, Hashem. Please, what am I trying to do? Keep Torah mitzvot? Help me do it. And you feel as if Hashem's not looking at you at all. He's not turning it to you at all. And He doesn't want you at all. הן על כל אלה וכיוצא בזה צריך התחזקות גדול לחזק עצמו מאוד מאוד. With all that goes on in our avodat Hashem and our connection to Hashem, we need chizuk. We need to strengthen ourselves to not look at all the hardships that we're going through, to not look at all the times that we feel in avodat Hashem they're pushing us away. כי באמת כל ההתרחקות הוא כל כולו רק התקרבות. Anytime you're going further away, anytime they're pushing you away from Shemayim, it's really they're only bringing you in. And anybody here who has children, you know, if you tell your child no, do they take you seriously? What do? Come back. Harder, stronger, right? That's already the whole Indian. The Torah goes on, but you could stop there, right? You just bring the mashal of the child, you're already chap. What I'm saying. Tell a kid no. It's something, especially if they know that they can push your hand, especially if they know that they can manipulate you. They're going to get what they want. Because if it's not, they're going to cry, you're going to break something, they're going to get your attention, you're going to give in. We all know we're not strong enough to deal with them anymore. Right? You're going to give in. Everything Reb Nachman said up until now happened to every single tzaddik. כאשר שמענו מפיהם בפירוש. Reb Nachman says, I heard from their own mouths. They told me themselves that they went through all of this, that Hashem pushed them away when they tried to get deeper. They tried to take the next step, and Hashem said, no, doors closed. נדמה להם שהשם יתברך, אין מסתכל ופונה אליהם כלל. The tzaddikim said to Reb Nachman, it felt like Hashem wasn't even looking at me, wasn't talking to me, wasn't interested in me. מחמת שראו זמן רב שהם מבקשים ויגיעים ועושים ועובדים עבודת השם יתברך, ועדיין הם רחוקים מאוד מאוד. All the tzaddikim felt, for years I've been doing this, I've been trying so hard, I've been putting in the effort, and I'm still so far away. So what must they mean? I'm not the one that can actually change my life. I just have to do the pu'ulot, I just do the actions. From Shemayim, they have to pull me in closer. So if I'm doing everything I'm meant to be doing and they're not pulling me in closer, so clearly they don't want me. It must mean that I'm not wanted. ואילו לא היו מחזקים עצמן מאוד לבלי להסתכל על זה, היו נשארים במקומם הראשון ולא היו זוכים למה שזכו. Nachman says, if these tzaddikim would have paid attention to the fact that they're being pushed away, they would have never become tzaddikim. They would have stayed in their first place wherever they were. They would have never ever became to the madrega where we look back and we can remember these tzaddikim and we mention their names and learn their Torahs. Every human being in the world gets pushed away. Every single human being in the world has hard times. Everybody feels like they're not important and Hashem doesn't care about their avodah. We have a famous pasuk that's very connected to the times now in Elul. Shavei yipol tzaddik v'kam. So what makes him a tzaddik? That he's come. Everybody falls. The tzaddik just gets up even after the 7th time. And what are the sefet tevot of that pasuk? Sheva, Ipol, Tzadik, Vekam. What's the sefet tevot? What's the last letters of the pasuk? Amalek. What does Amalek want you to look at? The fact that you fell 7 times. What does the tzaddik do? Get up. I'm not going to look at the fact that I fell 7 times. I'm not going to look at that. I'm just going to get up and I'm going to keep going. Va'aklal ahuvi achi. You like that? How many rabbis you read in a book that call you achi?
Nachman.
There you go. Va'aklal ahuvi achi, my beloved brother, Reb Nachman says, chazak ve'ematz me'od. Be strong, be courageous. Ve'echoz atzmecha b'chol hakochot lisha'er kayam ba'avodatcha. Stay strong with all of your might. Shalom aleichem tzadikim. Stay as strong as you can to hold on to your avodah. Don't give up. Ve'al tachos, ve'al tistakel kal al kol hanal. Don't look at it. Don't pay attention to the fact that they're closing on the door. Don't pay attention to it. Don't look at it. ואם אתה רחוק מאוד מאוד ממנו יתברך, ונדמה לך שאתה פוגם בכל שעה, if you're very far from Hashem and it appears that you're the one making blemishes and sins and doing damage every single hour of the day, נגדו יתברך, against Hashem, אם כל זה כנגד זה, תדע, even though that's the case, on the other hand, you have to know, שאיש כזה, שהוא מגושם כל כך, a person like this that's so material, so this world, כל תנועה ותנועה שהוא מנתק עצמו מעט מן הגשמיותו ופונה להשם יתברך, היא גדולה ויקרה מאוד מאוד. ואפילו נקודה קטנה מאוד. The more a person, this is where we start to get into a little bit more, answer questions, right? Tzaddik Ralo, Ashar Tovlo. Nachman says, the more you can, any ounce, any little bit that you can remove yourself from the gashmiut, from your world, from your mind, from your retzonot, any midah that you can give up on, anytime you can just detach yourself a little bit from gashmiut in this world, that's the most precious thing up above. A little bit, any small step here, nikuda ktana, shu netak migashmiuto elav yitbarach, you take yourself away from the gashmiut and you go to Hashem, and there's many facets in our life where we have an attachment to gashmiut. Our own midot, those are also gashmiut. Right? You feel like this, you want to do this. Houses, cars, clothing, food. There's so many facets, there's so many different inyanim that are connected to Gashmiut. It doesn't always have to be so material. He says here, down here it's a little thing. Up above though, it's huge. It's huge. A small movement down here, away from Gashmiut, towards Hashem, up above is a giant thing. You guys might not like to hear this, but I'll tell you it worked for me. I didn't always keep Shabbat. And I heard once, on Shabbat, instead of lighting the cigarette each time, have a candle. Instead of 20, smoke 19. The next Shabbat, 18. I know some of you might have your hairs going up. Which Rav could be matir for you to smoke on Shabbat? He's not matir. You're going to smoke anyway. Just do one little bit thing, one thing less. And you see with Balei Tshuva that this really works. This really works. Another example of this, when I was growing up in Miami, I had friends that they would go to the club, and in nets, they were in Safra praying. I know where you were a few hours ago. So in many circles, your people would say, what do you mean, Torah? How could you be in a club in Miami Beach, and then go to nets? It's a stira, it's a bizayon. The truth is, it's not. It was a sur for him to go to the club, and it's a chovah for him to go to nets, to go to shacharit. He has to do that, and he wasn't allowed to do that. Because he did that, now he doesn't have to keep the Torah. He went to the club, so now he's exempt from going to shul in shacharit. It's not the way. Any small thing that we can do in this world to connect to Hashem by way of detaching from what we want and what we experience in this world, anything like that in the upper worlds is a ton. We all know this, right? Elon Musk putting a rocket in the sky. If it's off 1 inch down here, up there it's much more than an inch. A couple feet down here is light years up there. It's the same thing. If that's how it is in Gashmiut, even more so in B'chalut. כאשר תבין היטב מן המעשה של הצדיק שהתגבר עליו מאוד העצבות. Nachman tells in a different place a story of a tzaddik that got so depressed so hard on himself. He had so much dinim coming on him, and he felt such a place of depression, such a hard place. And then Hashem gave mercy on him, and he started to contemplate and mentally and go into different olamot in higher worlds. He started to get more and more joy, and more joy, and more joy, and he's flying, and he's going up in Dvekut. And he looks back down and he sees in this world he's sitting in the exact same place. Nothing changed. Nothing at all changed. And as he sees that he's sitting in the same place, slowly but surely he starts to come back down to the exact same place he was. But it's not the same place, because you just experienced simcha in the higher worlds. A little action down here, while sitting in the physical world, but detaching yourself to go up a little bit. For that tzaddik, was a big lesson for him. Because in Gashmiut, he didn't change really that much. It was a decision to take 5 minutes now to meditate and not just to be on my phone. To not go back into LinkedIn. To sit and to just be with Hashem. To detach myself from the Gashmiut that's here in my world right around me and to go back to the source. You get super happy when you start to do that. But if you look back down, you're still sitting in the same place. You're still there. You're still the exact same yid. So what happened? If that's just a little bit down here, what would happen if a person actually started to make those pulot and those actions and those movements to really change things? I missed one thing. What was the nikuda that made the yid so happy in the story, the tzaddik? That he realized, Baruch shelo asani goy. That was the nikuda that made him happy. What's the difference between everything I have in my life versus Baruch shelo asani goy? Everything I have in my life is connected to me. The fact that Hashem didn't make me a goy, that's Hashem. That means it's shalem. It's perfect. It's complete. It's from Hashem's hands. So there's no bad there. I have to be samech on that. It's complete. It's complete. They asked once Rav Shach, why don't we make the bracha shelo asani yehudi? Why make it a negative bracha? Say a positive thing. Baruch Hashem she'asani yehudi. Rav Shach said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made sure that you're not a goy. You have to make sure you're a yid. The bracha is on what Hashem did. Hashem made sure that you came down as a yid, right? Not as a goy. And now you have to make sure you're a yid. Vedat, and know. תכף שאדם רוצה להיכנס בעבודתו יתברך, אזי תכף היא עבירה גדולה שיש לו עצבות, חס ושלום. The second a person decides that they want to be in Avodat Hashem, it's an avera. It's a sin for them to be attached to sadness and depression. It's not okay. The beginning of Shara Kavanot, the Arizal, Rav Marchu, originally Rav Chaim Vital didn't put it there. In the past few years we were zocher to get the printings of the original order of how Rav Chaim Vital sorted out the books. But his son was the one that gave us what we have up until this past few years. And Rav Shmuel Vital, the Marshu, before Shara Kavanot, he added 2 ma'amarim that Rav Chaim Vital didn't put there. They're in a different place in the teachings of the Ari. One is about Mashiach, how we have to ask for Mashiach and Geula, and the other is about Simcha. That it's forbidden for a Jew to step into Torah, Tefillah, or anything else from a place of depression and sadness. And he brings many different remazim and different. One of them is Simcha is the Otiot Chamisha, 5. What's 5? Nanachi, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. Together, when you have all 5 of them unified, that's called Simcha, Chamisha, same letters. And what's the highest level? Yechida, which is the letters Chadi, which is Simcha, which is joy. Vayichid Yitro, Vayichad Yitro. Chadi Rabbi Shimon. There's also a story in the Gemara that says you're not allowed to have so much laughter, right? Since Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says it, since the destruction of the temple, he doesn't say that. He says in Olam Hazeh at all, you're not allowed Lemale Schok Pinu. You're not allowed to fill up your mouth with laughter. The Mefarshim, the Rechaim, and everyone comes and says that it's since the temple was destroyed, not just Olam Hazeh B'chal, and there's room for a little bit of joy. In the Gemara they ask once, what are you so happy about? Abai, he says, I have tefillin on. It's enough to be joyful, enough to be connected already. So Rav Nachman's telling us here, where the second you decide that you want to start Avodat Hashem, it's an avera, it's a sin for you to be connected to Atzvut. Like the Zohar says, Atzvut is sitra achra. And Atzvut is from the other side. And Hashem, Yitbarach, soneh ota. Hashem hates depression, hates sadness.
Can I ask one thing?
For sure. You just did. You can ask another.
Yeah, you started when you started to do avodas Hashem, Hashem is pushing you back.
Correct.
First thing is going to get the atzvus. The second of all, why is he doing it? If he wants me, he gave a mushroom with a child. A child, I don't want him to do it, but Hashem wants me to do it, so why is he pushing me away?
In this world, the main thing is really what comes down to Avodat Hashem, right? Another question, like you asked before, along the same lines Rabbi Nachman talks about in Torah 21, is a different question that Moshe Rabbeinu asked and didn't really get an answer to. Yediyah and Bechira, right? Does Hashem know everything? Do I choose it? So there's many different pilpulim and answers on this, right? But if Moshe asked the question and didn't get the answers, everything else is just spices to add to make us feel better, right? So one of the answers is, where is your Bechira? Are you happy or not? The Baal Shem Tov talks about tshuva, right? According to the Rambam, when you're reading all these halachot and you're going through things, so that before a person does a sin, they have to fight with all of their might, mesilut nefesh, to not sin, right? You're not allowed to sin. Chtav, shuv, all of that, the Rambam says, who are you to think that you're going to make tshuva? It might never happen. You're not allowed to choose to do averot. The word avera, right, is avar ya. Yud-K. What's Yud-K? Yud-K, Vav-K, what's the Yud-K? Mochi. In your mind, avarta. What does the Baal Shem Tov say once a sin happens in the world? What does the Baal Shem Tov say about anything that happens in the world? So, clearly Hashem wanted it to happen. So you did a sin. Now Hashem wanted that to happen. Hashem wanted something against the Torah to happen. Yeah. For whatever reason. Whatever cheshbonot. Hashem has his cheshbonot. So why do I have to do tshuva now? Because I thought I did it. I thought I was misugal and I enjoyed doing it and I thought it was separate from Hashem. And now when I come to do tshuva, I have to say mainly tshuva, like many of the tzaddikim, the students of the Baal Shem Tov said, what is the main thing you're doing tshuva for? One, that you enjoyed it, and two, that you think you did it. Pinchas of Koretz, which was one of his Zilula was last week. Yud El. It was like pretty much the Rebbe of Reb Nachman, Pinchas of Koretz. Once he had a student, Reb Nachman had a student that was by him for Shabbat Vayigash. And Reb Nachman asked the student of his, what did Reb Pinchas talk about? He said about vidui, that when we come to say Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, why is it plural? So Pshat is Gilgulim, Avotenu, all the way back, we're doing tshuva for all of Am Yisrael. It's not what Reb Pinchas said. Pinchas said, Hashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu. It's us. How could I do it without you inside of me? How could I do anything without a Kadosh Baruch Hu inside of me? So before the fact, I'm commanded by Hashem to keep Torah and mitzvot. I'm not allowed to sin. After the fact, if I think that sin was separate from Hashem, that's the avera. Aval, yeah. You do the mitzvah of tshuva. Return to Hashem. Come back to Hashem. It's not all your fault. You have to act. You make a mess. It was by you that you made a mess. You have to clean it up. But sometimes we don't make mess because we want to. Right? Every waiter that walks around in a restaurant and something falls from their hands, they didn't ever want to do that. I promise you. It's the most embarrassing thing in the world. But it happens. So what do you have to do now? Clean up and continue working.
So it's the same Amara as I would learn and I thought I learned, not the Shema.
No, there's objective averot, right? But yes, there you would be in a sense of, yeah, anytime you see perud, anytime you see separation in this world, that's not okay. Hashem is achdut, right? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. The Echad is the emphasis of that sentence. If we would focus more on the word Echad and Shema Yisrael, we would all be better Jews. I think we focus too much on either the Shema Yisrael or the Shem Elokeinu Hashem. If we focused on Echad more, it would make us all a lot more healthier. The more we realize that we all are connected with Hashem infinitely, and that we can't do anything without Him being there. Again, I'm not coming here to be matir averot and things like that. Chas v'chalila. On the other hand, once it happened, can you say it wasn't Hashem's will? On that thing, Hashem decided not to watch over the world. Doesn't make sense, right? If you really understand the yichud that the tzaddikim are trying to teach us, so then every single thing in this world, from the Holocaust to October 7th to anything good that happens in this world, Hashem was there. Now, if I sin, I was the one that did the sin, so yeah, there's halachot of tshuva, how to come back. But what's the outcome? What doesn't the Rambam mention in his Ilchot Tshuva? The last step of the tshuva, the last step, which is to come back to Hashem and be happy. And that's why we need the Baal Shem Tov. Yes, you made a mess, you clean up. You have to do vidui, azivat achet, kabbalah la'atid, chareta. All of these things are part of the process of tshuva. What's the end goal? To be a happy yid connected to Hashem. After the sin. Knowing that you were involved in something like that, and realizing Hashem put you there, and you still want to be connected. Nachman has many teachings about how the biggest praise of Hashem is when the furthest people in the world connect to Him. He uses Yitro as an example. Yitro was the Pope, right? The number one person in Avodah Zarah in the whole entire world. Advisor of Pharaoh, the Hitler of his generation, Yimach Shema. You don't have much worse people in the world in the time than Yitro. And Yitro comes and says, Ata yadati ki gadol Hashem. Ata yadati, Ata means now. Yadati means I knew. Now I knew. That doesn't make sense. What did you know? Now he realized that when he went to go do Avodah Zarah, and he tried every Avodah Zarah in the world, and he became the advisor of Pharaoh, all of that, I knew all along it was you, Hashem. I knew all along that was you, the whole entire step. So what, Hashem wanted him to do Avodah Zarah? Yes. Hashem wanted to be an advisor of Pharaoh? Yes. Why? So that he could take all of the good in there and come help Moshe Rabbeinu. It's exactly. And if Yitro wouldn't have been there, he wouldn't have been able to help Moshe Rabbeinu. And the fact that there's Dayanim and Rabbanim and levels, that's all from Yitro. A lot of things came from Yitro. And it only came because he was in the Klippa. It only came because he was in the dark places. Again, we're not allowed to go there. But once we've been there, we have to come back to Hashem. And coming back to Hashem, part of that is, you were there with me. Hashem knew. And when Nachman heard this from Reb Pinchas, he said, this is the sod of Bi Adoni. When Yehuda goes up to Yosef, right, he says, Bi Adoni. What is Bi Adoni? Bi Adonai. Hashem is inside of me. No matter what I'm doing, Hashem is inside of me. I can never be detached. So before I have to make the decision not to go there, like Rambam says, when there's the shmad against Am Yisrael, even on your shoes, even on minadim, you have to die. But when there's not shmad, so there's 3 sins you're meant to die for. Everything else, you do it, and you do tshuva. You try to come back. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And for sure, even more so when we have 3 levels, right? Chatati, aviti, pashati. Ached is a mistake. It's a mistake. Avon is intentional. And then pesha, how many people in the world ever in their mind could imagine doing pesha? There are very few cases in the history of Am Yisrael that you actually had posh'im. What's a pesha? People that come to be machisit Hashem, to go against Hashem. Who in the world does that? It's very, very, very rare that you have a poshe in Am Yisrael. So all of these things are doing tikkuns for things that, okay, you made a mistake, or you did something intentional, but you didn't really know the whole full dinim of it. You didn't. How much are we really even sinning? So Hashem has all his gilgulim and calculations and cheshbonot that he makes, because there is a purpose to the world, and there's much more than what we can see that needs to be going on in the world. So if I'm going to blame myself for everything that goes on, negative, am I also going to take credit for all the good that happened in my life? If I blame myself for all the bad, do I also blame myself for all the good? Most of us don't do that. If we were doing that, mele, okay, great. You're being, real on both sides. I'm the one that messed up, and I'm the one that made it all happen too. Reb Nachman says this: if you believe you can break something, you have to believe that you can fix it. If you believe, etzem zeh, that you believe that you could mess something up, you, not Hashem, you, that means that you have the ability to fix it. Because who are you to make anything wrong? And if you have the ability to take it down, you have the ability to take it up. וצריך להיות עקשן גדול בעבודת השם. You have to be extremely stubborn and persevering in your עבודת השם. לבלי להניח את מקומו. Don't ever give up on the place that you reached. דהיינו מעט מקצת עבודה שהתחיל. You started a little bit, you try to be a little bit good, Mishnah Berurah once a day, whatever it is, small thing that you take upon yourself, don't ever give up on it. אף אם יעבור עליו מה, no matter what happens to you. וזכור דבר זה היטב כי תצטרך לזה מאוד. Remember this teaching because you're going to need it in life. Nachman says that right. Remember this, you're going to need it. כשתתחיל קצת בעבודת השם, כי צריך עקשנות גדול מאוד להיות חזק ואמיץ. When you start doing Avodat Hashem, and again, reminder, Reb Nachman was talking to Hasidim. Reb Nachman was not talking to the people in the street that were not connected to Hashem. He was talking to the Anshe Ma'ala. When you start to do Avodat Hashem, you need to be very strong. And don't give up on your place at all. Va'amitz, le'echoz atzmo la'amod al omdo. Stay on your place. אם מפילים אותו חס ושלום בכל פעם, כי לפעמים יש מפילים אחד מעבודת השם כידוע, אף על פי כן עליו לעשות את שלו. Sometimes it happens that they push you from Shemaim, they push you off of your Avodat Hashem. Why didn't I wake up for Shacharit? I wanted to, the alarm was set. I had full intention when I went to sleep to wake up for Shacharit. Why didn't I wake up? In Shemaim, they didn't want me to wake up. אף על פי כן עליו לעשות את שלו. Even if that's the case, you have to do what you have to do. You have to do what you have to do. לעשות מה שיוכל בעבודת השם. Do whatever you can in עבודת השם. ואל תניח עצמו ליפול לגמרי. One thing's for sure, don't let yourself fall completely. Don't let it go. We see this time, a lot of times in the world. I see it dealing with neshamot, that people, they feel broken, and then they give up. The Rebbe didn't want to talk to me, it didn't work out, his bracha didn't go well. Don't want to keep Shabbat anymore. And it might sound exaggerated, but it's not. There's a lot of Hasidic boys from these neighborhoods in Israel, completely confused off their mind. One week tzaddik, next week they're the mayor of Sdom. Why? Because they have ups and downs, and they can't manage to go up and then come back down. And if anybody's been here in a hospital or watched a little bit of TV, so you know, a heartbeat is up and down. Life is up and down. The flat is the worst thing possible to see in a heart monitor. Life is always going to be up and down. So how do we do that? Don't ever let yourself fall completely. Don't ever take that kippah off your head. Right? Kippah is a minhag. What does it mean though when a yid takes off his kippah? There's not more acts in Judaism that say a bigger scream than a yid taking off his kippah. It's a piece of fabric that's a minhag. Why does it say so much? Because it says a lot more. It says a lot more than just not wearing a yarmulke on your head. Veda. We'll end with this, B'ezrat Hashem. שיש אחד שכבר הוא אצל הפתח של הקדושה. There's those that they're already at the opening of Kedusha. They're right there. A few more days, a few more minyanim, their life will change forever. It's like Paro, on the other hand, right? Paro, he didn't want to listen to Hashem. He said no, said no, said no, said no, said no. Sixth time, Hashem said, even if you say yes now, the answer is still no. Hashem locked his heart. Why? Because he locked his own heart. You get given the opportunity again and again and again and again. At a certain point, it's on you to take it. So we're lucky, we're not Paro. We can always do tshuva. Right? There's always tshuva in the world. Tshuva kadma lebriya. But we also have to make our decisions, because at a certain point, there's going to be a lock. Ve'u chozer la'acharav. He's at the opening of Kedusha and he goes back. He takes a step back. Why? Because of all of the confusion. When he gets to the opening, the Sitra Achra comes against him, and the Baal Davar pushes him a lot. The Satan comes in against him a lot. They don't let him come inside. The way of the Baal Davar, Reb Nachman says, the way of the Satan is that when a person is close, they push him away. They don't want you to go in. Because what happens if a Yid really connects to Hashem? What happens? I was working my whole entire life. 2 years ago, my Rebbe told me, stop working, focus on Torah. My whole entire life changed. What happens if I would have? I was right there at the Petach. Every day I was asking to do this. I just didn't have the backing. I didn't have the confidence to do it. Once my Rebbe told me, this is what you need to do. That's it. I walked in. I don't know who knows what Hashem's plan is, right? But I like spreading Torah. It's good. It's working. Baruch Hashem, we have a Beit Midrash that's growing. But I was working every day. That's how I know Yossi, from working. What would have happened if I would have listened to the Yetzer Hara told me, well, you're going to sit and learn Torah all day? You work your whole entire life. You have to make money. What's going to be? I had that thought, and I have it all the time too. Close the Beit Midrash, go back. I could be in Tel Aviv making 40,000 shekel a month. I know this is small numbers here in America, right? $10,000 a month, okay. But in Israel, that's very comfortable, especially if you live in Tzfat. I cannot stand the thought. A few years ago, I had the thought all the time. Leave Tzfat, go to Tel Aviv, make your money. I was right at the Petach. Right at the Petach. My life has changed completely in the last 2 years, since October 7. Completely. Because I didn't listen to all those voices. We're all about to be at the Petach. We're all about to be at Rosh Hashanah. A new year starting, a new cycle of Avodat Hashem. Everything that's been up until now, Seder. But now you're going to start a new year. And Tishrei starts. It's not that easy to get through Tishrei. It's a lot of work in Tishrei. And you try, and you want to make it, and you try to sit in the sukkah and have kedusha there. You're trying to do Avodat Hashem. You're trying to take it seriously. And they make it harder. And then I have a question. What happens right after Tishrei? What comes after Tishrei? Emptiness. Until Chanukah, you have nothing. So when you start your Avodat Hashem, you see even in the calendar, Min HaShamayim, they push you away. Come to Tishrei, come to the Beit HaMikdash, Avodat HaKohen, all the beautiful things, Rosh Hashanah, Sukkot, Simchat Beit HaShoevah, all of prophecy is brought down into the world by way of Simchat Beit HaShoevah, and then darkness. Until Purim, Pesach, really. Because Chanukah is...
What's the reason for the rejection?
The truth is that we need this balance, right? On one hand, if we really were to allow to go completely in Avodat Hashem, your neshama would leave, you would leave it. It's good. I ask a different way. How is it that every Hollywood celebrity and all these successful people in this country, with everything that they have, are not happy? They have everything. They have the island, they have the house, they can buy anything they want, they have the fame, they have the money, they have everything. They respect them, they walk in the street, people chasing after them, they have everything. What happens when a person gets extremely rich in this world? Extremely rich. They become a philanthropist. They start to give away their money. Why? Why are you giving away your money? You make billions, millions, start to give foundations. Okay, so there's the tax cut. Okay, that's one side. On the other side is they have nothing that gives them fulfillment besides helping other people. So too, it's the same thing. Like the Baruch Hu has to limit how much we go into Avodat Hashem, because if we were to take this ta'anug and run with it, what would be left of this world? And Hashem sent us down here not to be malachim, to be in this world. So there needs to be a balance. And the nature is, I'm going to tell you this, I deal also with coaching converts and people, Baalei Tshuva and converts. A lot of converts, their goal is to convert. It's a problem. It's a big problem. I try to coach people out of it, but their goal is to convert. So what happens when they step out of the mikveh? For 2 years, a year, 3 years, sometimes 8 years, they've been working on converting. When they walk out of the mikveh and they are now a Jew, and they completed their process, what happens? Your goal was wrong to begin with. Your goal is to die a Jew, to live a Jew. To make it to 120 still a Jew. Not to come out of a mikveh, not to become a Jew. That's where the whole problem was. This is the same thing now. If our goal is shleimut, if our goal is perfection, being a tzaddik, avodat Hashem all day long without getting rejected, so we have the wrong goal. Our goal is connection to Hashem Yitbarach, and Hashem runs the world, and Hashem has calculations, and Hashem is taking us all on a path towards ultimate, infinite dveikut and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that never will end, and that will only feel better and better as it grows and as it goes. That's Olam Haba. In this world, until we get there, it is the up and down. Like the Baal Shem Tov says, Tanug Timidi eno Tanug. Even the tzaddikim get pushed out of the dveikut. They didn't do anything wrong. Appreciate it. If you eat ice cream every day, you won't want it the next week. You have to take the breaks. It's the same thing in Avodat Hashem. If we push and push and push and never understand the bitul of giving into the will of Hashem, then we're not really serving Hashem, we're serving ourselves. Hashem has to keep us in check a little bit. And if He closes the door on you and you say, clearly He doesn't want me, so then you failed the test. But if you close the door and you break the door, welcome to Avodat Hashem.
So why do I have to do tshuva? He wants me to fall back. So what's tshuva?
Because when you do tshuva, you come even stronger.
No, he said he wants me not to have a talent to me, right?
Correct.
So he makes me feel bad.
Beautiful,
I'm
beautiful.
with you.
Who's your Rebbe, by the way? Who's your Rebbe?
Rabbi, can I ask you?
One second, he's in the middle of a question. I'm with you. 100%. This is the ikar now. This was just the open the hearts.
Why do you have to do tshuva? They want you to cross.